Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
All right, guys, today's show is brought to you by none other than the Ridge wallet. We've talked about this many, many times, but your wallet in your pocket right now is probably old, tatty, full of receipts, full of crap. And if you pull it out at the bar, you look like a loser. You do. Well, what do you need to do? You need to up your wallet game. And the Ridge wallet, they've got you started. These things are modern, they're sophisticated, they're non-bulky, they're slim, they will fit in your skinny jeans, they won't bulge. They carry all your credit cards, and then you've got a little clip at the back to put money in it. Lewis, I know you love yours.
I love it, dude. Every time I pull it out, I just feel like a ninja. It's very slick and sexy and sleek. If you're trying to look like you're classy, if you want to pull your wallet out and feel like you're fucking James Bond, this is it, okay? It's basically two metal plates bound together by a durable elastic band. It's nothing like any other traditional wallet you've ever seen. It forces you to not keep junk in your wallet because it's just designed for your cards and your cash. Really, really cool. Really cool product. I love it. Everyone that has it here at Gas Digital loves it. I know, Bisping, you love it. So we have a pretty great deal here. If you guys go to ridgewallet.com, that is ridgewallet.com/BYM, or use the promo code BYM in the link in the description, you save 10% off your entire purchase. So grab your Ridge wallet right now. It gives you a lifetime warranty, so it'll be the last wallet you ever buy. Once again, that is ridgewallet.com/BYM.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the fuck up.
And new undisputed UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael the Count Bisping.
This is Believe You Me on the Gas Digital Network.
Doopy-doopy-dee-boo. What's going on, Lewis, my friend? Happy Monday, as they say over here in America. It's pissing down with rain here right now. It feels like I'm in England. It's been raining a lot. It's cold. Well, not by East Coast standards or English standards. It's a little bit chilly. We've had to have the fire on lately. You know what?
The mansion fire, laying out on the bearskin rug.
The half mansion fire. It's because California's so dry. I mean, most of the time we get no rain. All the soil and the dirt is so dry. So then when it rains, they suffer from mudslides, and it's all over the news today. The poor people of Malibu. I mean, I know what everyone's thinking. Oh, Malibu, that's where all the rich people live. But I mean, I'm sure there's very, very nice, decent people. Just because you're successful doesn't mean bad things should happen to you. And these guys, they just had the fires not too long ago. I'm sure you saw about all that on the news. And then now it's pouring down with rain. So they got fucking mudslides. They got flash flood warnings. It's the world is ending, Lewis.
Yeah, you can't hate on people in Malibu. First of all, number one, we should all aspire to be like them. They're successful. They make money. They work very hard. I'm assuming even if you are successful, most people that have money have to work hard to maintain that money. If you don't work hard, you're just going to spend your money. I grew up very poor. We didn't own shit. If we had a fucking mudslide and it took out my rental, who gives a shit? It's not mine. We moved to another place. It didn't really matter. We just get a security deposit back. It's not our fault. It's really our landlord's issue.
When I was a kid, I was always dying for floods and things like that. I think as a kid, you want that. I used to see footage of like people in like dinghies and canoes going through the streets. I used to think, fuck me, why don't we get any of that shit? Of course, as an adult, that sounds terrible. It sounds like a real fucking pain in the ass. But if you're struggling with fires or floods right now, my heart goes out to you. But right now, Lewis, the only thing on my mind as an avid Game of Thrones fan, I don't know if you are. Are you a Game of Thrones fan, Lewis?
Son, I am one of the biggest. I'll tell you right now, I think I'm probably a bigger Game of Thrones fan than you.
Get fucked. How many times you watched the show? How many times you watched it?
I've probably gone through every episode twice, I'd say.
I just finished rewatching the whole show from episode 1 to the end of season 7. And it's even better when you watch it a second time because it's a complicated show. But then when you watch it a second time, you get all the finer nuances. There's a lot of things that you don't recognize. A lot of things like the Red Wedding, of course, the Red Wedding where everyone got killed. That was super shocking at the time. But when you watch it a second time, the writing's on the wall. You can see it's going to happen. Yeah. What was he called? Robb Stark. He fucked that guy. He didn't hold up to his vow, his promise, what he made. And you don't do that in those days. You get fucking killed. Anyway, New trailer dropped last night.
First of all, let me just
excited,
the Red Wedding, when it happened, I mean, it was fucking it was so shocking that, remember, there were reaction videos coming out on the internet.
Oh,
it was
my
like when
God.
when Two Girls, One Cup came out, then it was like the next reaction video was the Red Wedding. It went from Two Girls, One Cup. It was such a shocking moment that they were like, you know what? The next thing needs to be the Red Wedding. It was crazy. They killed everybody. And even if the writing was on the wall, you didn't realize what was going to happen. You didn't realize like how it was going to happen. Dude, when they stabbed her in the fucking stomach, spoiler alert, obviously if you haven't seen it, sorry. We apologize.
Hey, if you have no spoiler alert. If you haven't seen Game of Thrones by now and you're going to be pissed at us because we're spoiling it for you, go fuck yourself, okay? It's been on HBO. It's been doing the rounds for 7 years. If you haven't seen it yet, then I suggest you crawl from under the rock. But you're right.
We will give you the shame bell for not watching such an incredible show.
You know, I hate it when people say, no, I don't watch Game of Thrones. I don't like fantasy. Dragons, no, sorry, I'm not into that. It's like, dude, the drama, the acting, the suspense, everything on that show is fantastic. Not to mention the special effects, the battle scenes, and the fucking dragons. I mean, who doesn't love a good dragon?
Were we doing the show when this happened? I don't know. Dude, it was such a crazy moment. There was the moment where he fed the woman and her baby to his dog. The big piece of shit, whatever his name was, the one who like raped
Ramsay.
Ramsay. Yeah, dude. That
Ramsay.
motherfucker.
Reek.
Yeah, dude. And he fed the baby and the woman to his dogs. And I remember it was so shocking. It was earlier in the episode, but then they showed the dragons at the end of the episode. I remember I felt so good. I was like, dragons are great. And it completely washed away watching a woman and her baby being eaten by dogs. That's how great dragons are.
Well, okay. I mean, I don't remember a baby being eaten by dogs. I remember a woman being eaten, but okay. If you want to raise the bar, throw a baby in, why not? Definitely
Am I
more
crazy?
shocking.
Am I imagining the baby? You don't remember?
No,
I can't
there was no
remember.
baby got burnt. There was no. No. Don't try and remember. I just finished watching it. For 7 seasons.
You know what? What?
It was Shireen,
It was Shireen.
the daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the baby got eaten too.
No, she was burnt at the stake.
Yeah.
No, that's not one of them. And yes, Shireen was burnt at the stake. That was fucked up. But I'm talking about a Game of Thrones.
Oh,
It didn't
yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
Eaten.
I know exactly.
Oh,
It wasn't
shit.
eaten.
Sycophant Harrington, go again.
I
Stick
know.
up for Lewis.
I
Stick
got
up
this.
for the boss man.
It's-
Do it.
It was the guy beyond the wall, his daughters. Remember, he would leave his son out for the White Walkers.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
it. Got turned. It didn't get eaten.
No, doggy. I'm telling you right now, right here. I'm looking at it, you fucking assholes. Game of Thrones doesn't care much about the unwritten rules of TV. It will kill babies and you will like it. Yeah, right here.
Babies did die. But
No.
I don't think one got eaten by a dog. But that said,
Right here. I'm
regardless,
looking at it. Look.
Okay. Oh, make your point.
Ramsay
doggy. Make your
Ramsay
point.
Ramsay Lewis Walda, the child's mother, his father's wife, an important member of the new rival house Frey. Remember, this was going to be the baby that could be the king. It was his brother, actually. It was his brother who's carrying her newborn to the kennel where he keeps his pack of vicious dogs. He then casually unleashes the houses on them. We don't see the slaughter directly, but we hear the guttural bellows of the dogs and Walda screams. So yes, I'm right. Finally, one for Louis J. Gomez. Michael Bisping has to fucking eat it.
Hey. Remember this moment, the one time. But you know, the good thing is that I was bringing this up is because the new season starts in April. I think it's going to be 2 hours per episode. Lewis is making a little mental note there of the time he was right.
I think that will live in infamy.
Yeah. He said, today was a good day. I wrote it down. She made a good joke. Anchorman for you there. No, it's going to be 2 hours episode. 2 hours per episode every Sunday night. I can't fucking wait. Okay. Yeah. And one of my New Year's resolutions is not to swear as much. But when it comes to this, I can't fucking wait. And I don't care. So that's very, very exciting.
If you guys want to know how much we love
I'll tell you what,
Game of Thrones, the shame bell comes from Game of Thrones. That's the whole concept of the shame bell came from what's her name getting shamed. Everyone's yelling shame as she's walking down the street and they're ringing the bell. That's what we're doing.
That is what we're doing. That's exactly where it comes from. But Lewis, you know, there's another show I started watching on HBO last night. And I got to say, I didn't know you were in it. I did not know you were in it. I was watching it last night. It's called Barry. I was like, Lewis kept this under the rug.
I'm sorry, I don't
Have
care.
you seen Barry with Bill Hader?
Obviously, I've seen it because I'm in it. And yeah, this is me.
Look
right
at
here.
this guy.
No
there
makeup.
he is.
That's the best part of all is no makeup at all.
Lewis. Bro, I was watching it last night. It's a very good show, by the way. And I'm like, fucking Luis Gomez is in Barry, and
Lewis,
he kept it quiet. I mean,
go back.
they did some great makeup there, Lewis, because you actually look better there. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Lewis
Look
J.
at that.
Gomez, first of all.
Come on.
It's not
I
that
got
bad.
quite the kick out of that last night. I tell you, I was led in bed. I was led in bed last night, and I was watching this, and I'm like, "Who the fuck does that guy look like?" And then Rebecca said, "It's Lewis." I was like, "Oh
it's
my
Rebecca.
god!"
Oh, it's fucking Rebecca. Oh, really? Oh, really?
I got out of. Hey, let me tell you this: when I'm snuggled in bed late at night and I'm about to fall asleep, I won't get out of bed for anything. But I got out of bed to take a good picture of that so I could bust your balls on it this morning. But yeah, it's an uncanny resemblance, Lewis.
Well, I appreciate it, Michael Bisping. And you know what? You're not going to fucking shame me. I don't care. I'm very comfortable in the way that I look. I'm very attractive. A lot of women and men both find me attractive. So,
Oh, for sure. Hey, no shame, buddy. I'm saying congrats. I mean, you know, he's a good-looking guy. You're a good-looking guy. What's more to be said?
That's true.
You know, there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, just a reminder, Darren Till's number. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Darren Till will be calling in the show, or we will be calling him shortly. Talking to Darren Till, find out what's going on in his world. Will he be fighting in London? Last night or over the last few days, the real fucking Darren Till, not Hanata Laranja calling in, right, and doing a fucking impression, kids. It's going to be the real deal. The fucking Darren Till, the gorilla, mate. Yeah, he's calling in. We'll find out if he's going to fight Jorge Masvidal. Masvidal, the little prick, has been calling him out, so that'd be an interesting one. So we'll see what the deal is there. Of course, lots of things going on in the world of MMA, but just quickly before we get into that, Lewis, have you seen this world record egg business that's doing the rounds?
I saw.
Hey! Going from one egg in Barry to another egg. You know, I mean, it's all about Luis J. Gomez today. This show.
I just want you to know how silence feels after a joke. Piece of shit.
Hey, let's bring up the world record egg, and then let's bring up the other guy from Barry.
I mean, really, the egg actually, I just realized, does kind of look a lot like me as well. If you just kind of pull up the egg for a second.
For those people that don't know, world record egg. I mean, here it is. How many? He's got 34 million likes. I think. How many Instagram followers? This is the only post. If you go to Instagram, world_record_egg. Okay, it's got, as I just said, 34 million followers. I think he's got about 4 million. Yeah, 4.3 million followers. That's gone up 1 million since yesterday.
But
yesterday I saw it. It was on.
What does the bio say? The bio says. Wait, go back for a second and just hit back.
Official world record holder of the most liked picture on Instagram. Now the reason. Go back.
Yeah, say let's set a world record together and get the most liked post on Instagram, beating the current world record holder, Kylie Jenner. I mean, look, it's sort of a gag. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was like a real thing.
No, that's exactly what it is. It's just basically Kylie Jenner, and I'm sure she's a lovely person. I've never met her. But she's got, and this is mind-blowing, 124 million Instagram followers, which is just insane. You know, I mean, that's a lot of people, 124 million. And she holds the record for the most likes, 123 million. Sorry, pardon.
What's her most liked picture?
Well, it was 18 million likes, yeah.
What was the
so
picture?
The whole campaign, I don't know.
It was a picture of that egg in her asshole.
A little bit of side boob.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what a crazy world we're living in these days. You know, the most liked Instagram thing is Kylie Jenner. Now, I looked at her page. She's a pretty good looking girl. There's nothing on there apart from pictures of herself posing.
Oh, that's her most liked picture, though. Who is that, though? Is that her? She's a child?
But that's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's a picture. That's a mother holding a baby's thumb. I mean, that is blessed. Shame on me.
Yeah,
I mean, that's beautiful.
You're an asshole. You said it was her side boob. I said it was an egg in
Well,
her
it
asshole.
probably is, or like some like pouting, turning back, looking at her ass, giving a V sign. It's normally some shit like that, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah. See, we're fucked up, man. We're cynical. We imagine the world as a worse place that it's going to be. We would assume that it would be some fucking stupid picture, and it was one of the most beautiful pictures I've ever seen in my entire life. Look at it. Go back to it.
It's a nice, sweet shot. Okay, we're not here to hate on that.
Who's her baby? How old is Kylie Jenner? I didn't know she had a baby. How old is she? She's like 22 years old, right? And who's the baby?
Is this a new low?
What is wrong with these fucking women? Why would you?
She's 21.
21. Why would you ruin your life?
What do you mean ruin her life?
21
I had
years
children what was I? I think I was 21. Rebecca was 19 when we had kids.
You ruined that poor woman's life. Think of all the things she could have done. She could be a supermodel.
Poor woman. We stole her life, and she dedicated her life to these children. I must admit, because at the time I wasn't working. I wasn't exactly catch of the year. Let's put it like that. I was a DJ at a pub for £50 a week.
Getting
I was
into
doing
fights every weekend.
I was getting it. Hey, bro. I was in the Clitheroe Advertiser paper for scrapping every weekend almost. It wasn't good. And then I didn't have a job, or I did have a job, but I couldn't hold it down because they were shit.
I have an idea. Let's have a baby.
For minimum wage. Well, you have unprotected sex. What do you think is going to happen? And we were done. But then, as I say, I wasn't exactly setting the world on fire. And then when Rebecca's father came down and we had to tell him, I mean, he's the most laid back guy in the world. Thankfully, Rebecca is, and so is Callum. They're all very laid back. But that wasn't a good day saying to Graham when I had no job, hey, mate, yeah, Rebecca's
your
pregnant.
19-year-old daughter. I mean, that's fucking, oh my God. It's also a different time, though, I should say. Like, you're 39.
We're not that fucking old, Lewis. Jesus Christ.
It is still different, though. 19 now. If you hear about a girl that's 19 now getting pregnant, that's that's young then, too. How is it in England, though? Because here in America, I hear of a 21-year-old girl getting pregnant, and I don't say ruin her life because let's fucking get real. Kylie Jenner doesn't have any. She's a bazillionaire. She's got maids. She has nannies. She has everything at her fingertips. She got a personal trainer to get back in shape. She's got everything. This is a different level. We fucking kid with you saying you have a half mansion and you're rich and blah, blah, blah. Kylie Jenner is another level. Having a baby for her is just, I'm not saying it is to her. I'm sure she loves her child very much, but it's not the same type of responsibility that having a baby for you.
It's the ultimate fashion accessory for Kylie Jenner. Not that I'm saying it is a fashion accessory, but Instagram followers like that kind of shit. But no, for me, what was the question? No, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Forced me to get my shit together. Forced me to start fighting. That's why I wanted to give them a good life. But in England, I certainly feel like in the Northwest or certain parts of the country, seeing 16-year-olds walking down the street with prams and stuff is nothing it's very common to see that, it really is. But, I know a lot of people, because in England, the welfare system is very, very generous to people. If you have a kid, but no job or anything like that, you get an apartment, you get a flat, you get a house, whatever it is, you get money. And they just, some people are happy to live that lifestyle. Now, of course, for some people, they're forced into that lifestyle. But I do know people for a fact that choose that lifestyle. They have a kid or they have two kids, and then they get the more kids, the more money. Yeah. And that's the lifestyle that they choose, and they're very, very happy. I mean, it's bullshit. I mean, I love that we live in a day and age where if people need help, they receive help. I do. 100%. I'm not too keen on it being exploited, though.
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, I grew up in a household that was completely exploited. My mother took advantage of the welfare system, and I watched it firsthand. It weirdly, my mom's laziness. I literally watched my mom just not work for a very large portion of her life, and that inspired me in a way to I remember just thinking at being a very young age, being that's not how you're supposed to live. That's not what you're supposed to do. And it's sort of I don't know. I sort of did everything sort of the opposite of my own mother. But yeah, I think you're right. But it's a weird thing that we sort of celebrate that as well, because you see shows on television 16 and Pregnant, and those girls are massive celebrities now. And they, those girls make a lot of money. So it almost becomes like a thing where you're telling this other generation of kids, like, oh, by the way, if you have a kid, there's like this cool means to an end there. There's that whole like sect of TV shows that are like really fucking weird, like 90 Day Fiance, that one. Like they're all just like, you're taking advantage of these people that have these, like, that are a little bit fucking, they don't really have their shit together. You're like watching a car crash.
Yeah, but that's reality TV in general, isn't it? I mean, not all reality TV, but generally they're looking at people less fortunate of themselves, and they don't realize that they're being somewhat, subconsciously mocked or belittled, or people are watching them and cringing and thinking, wow, holy shit. But they're loving it. The subjects of the show are loving it and loving the exposure. But let's just take a quick second to hear from Fulton and Rourke. Fulton and Rourke, they offer a huge line of men's grooming products. And let me tell you, their quality is absolutely fantastic. They send me a variety of things that I absolutely love. One of the things, the main thing that I love is the fragrance, the rub-on wax fragrance. It's in a cool little kind of like a Zippo lighter, if you will. Go to the gym, throw it in your gym bag, take it anywhere, put it in your pocket, and then just rub a little bit on you. Just kind of like a roll-on deodorant, but these things smell beautiful. They're fantastic. I went out the other night. My wife was all over me. She thought it was some super, super expensive one. But, Fulton and Rourke, very, very well priced. And this will last a long time. And it's super cool. As I said, there's no waste. And on top of that, as I said, they do a variety of products, including the moisturizer, Lewis. Have you used the moisturizer?
Yeah, they sent me a little package, a care kit. So I'm using the body wash. I'm using the moisturizer, the face wash, literally everything. I also love, I don't wear cologne. I don't give a shit at all about cologne. This doesn't feel like you're spraying. When I spray cologne into the air, it makes my mouth, you could taste it. It smells too much. I'm not into it. This, you rub a little bit on your neck, a little bit on your hands. It smells really good. It's very manly as well. That's what my girlfriend keeps on telling me, which is awesome. But across the board, I think all the products are phenomenal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And another product that I love is their sunscreen and their moisturizer that they do. Listen, we're halfway through January. Most people have blown their New Year's resolutions. Why? Because they're stupid. You're probably not going to start working out 6 hours a day and having no carbs and living off fresh air and lettuce. But you can start taking better care of your face. Now, Fulton and Rourke's founders, Kevin and Alan, they knew the benefits of wearing sunscreen, but they thought most daily wear sunscreens were terrible. So all you need is a little splodge, put it on your face. It feels great, lubricates your face. You feel nice and fresh. And guess what? It also prevents aging from the sun, sunburn, all that type of stuff. So honestly, check them out. Lewis, how do the people listening get a great deal on these fantastic products that I guarantee, the Michael Bisping guarantee, seal of approval, you will not be disappointed in these products. How do they get a discount, Lewis?
Right now, go to FultonandRourke.com. Rourke is spelled R-O-A-R-K. That is Fulton, F-U-L-T-O-N, and Rourke, R-O-A-R-K.com, and use the code BYM for Believe You Me. You're going to receive 15% off your entire purchase at checkout. So make sure you use that promo code BYM. It lets them know that we sent you there. Check out their entire line. I promise you're going to love this stuff. We all love it. So once again, that is Fulton and Rourke, ROARK.com. Use the promo code BYM. All right, let's get back into it.
We got Darren Till calling in a little bit. So that'll be fun to hear from him. Where shall we start, Lewis? Because on the notes, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. Conor McGregor and Paulie Malignaggi, I guess we'll start there. But I don't know. What do you think, Lewis? Is that a great place to start?
Sure.
The fight discussion?
Sure. Let's, look, we do have the fights this weekend, which you're coming into town for. I'm very excited about. Thursday night, we're doing a live show.
Yep. Thursday night, 9 p.m.
Thursday night, 9 p.m. Cool. Got it. Thursday night, 9 p.m. We'll have a live show, Eastern Standard Time. You guys could listen live or watch live at gasdigitalnetwork.com/live, which, by the way, you can watch the shows live every week, every Monday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern for free. So, but yeah, I guess let's talk about Paulie and Conor, which is, I guess, big news. Not really. It's not really big news, but it's kind of fun, gossipy little news.
Yeah. There you go. Perfect. It's gossipy. You know what I mean? And Conor's the type of guy who always brings those kind of, people are interested in what's going on. I'm hearing reports that they're trying to make the fight between Malignaggi and Conor. Of course, Malignaggi is trying to make it happen. He's saying that he's not. Do you have any direct quotes, tweets, or anything you can read out there? I don't remember them off the top of my head. Do we have anything, Harrington?
Yeah, Harrington has some stuff. What is it, buddy?
I have it right here. McGregor's trying all he can to keep himself relevant as best he can, even going as far as calling out these Japanese fighter Nasukawa. That guy just did an exhibition with Floyd. I don't think he was intended to fight guys big as Floyd or Conor. That physically big is a very small guy. It was a one-off situation. Conor's not the same. He's not Floyd Mayweather. Floyd doesn't lose. Conor loses every year.
Yeah, well, it is weird that Conor's calling out Namaka Nakamura.
Whoa. Tenshin Nasukawa, have a bit of respect, please, when you say his name. I will not hear of any Nakamomo or anything like that. That is disrespectful, Lewis.
I apologize.
Thank you.
Somebody got a call from his agent. We're like, listen to me, you really offended Nakamumu's people. And,
yeah.
If you could just get his name right on the next podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I did see that tweet recently. I'm sure most people did, where Conor was like saying, okay, let's do a exhibition bout with Tenshin over in Rising. I think that was just him having a bit of fun. I don't think there was any seriousness to it. But a fight with Malignaggi, there might be something there. You know what I mean? Because Conor likes to get paid. He likes to earn money. I know they're trying to do the rematch with Khabib. I know the UFC are trying to do that. If Khabib's father is to be believed, they offered him $15 million. And they came back and said they want $30 million to do the fight. That's Khabib's father, not me. I haven't heard that from anywhere, but that was what Khabib's dad said.
They have no reason to lie, though, right? I mean, Khabib's father.
No, for sure. And from what I see from Khabib's father and the way he carries himself, and my dad hung out with Khabib's dad in Moscow recently, and said just a great guy, very, very, very honorable man. So I can't imagine he'd be the type to go out there and be lying in the media. Now, Malignaggi, going back to that, Malignaggi, he's retired. He's working as an analyst and a commentator and stuff for Showtime and the boxing fights. But you can't tell me that the allure of a big payday for taking on somebody that's only had one boxing fight, that's intriguing for Malignaggi. Of course it is. So I think he's trying to stir the pot and maybe drum up some interest and make that happen.
Yeah, no. I mean, obviously for Malignaggi that makes sense. But for Conor, to be honest with you, you got to start looking at what makes sense for Conor. And, if I'm Conor's people, I'm like, dude, let's just fucking get a couple W's. Let's get a couple dubs in the win column. Losing to Mayweather, losing to Khabib, you're not... that stock is going to keep on going down. If he fights Khabib again, I don't give a shit what way you want to slice it. I think Khabib just has Conor's number. There was nothing that I saw in that fight that made me think that Conor could win a rematch. I think that a Malignaggi fight, it weirdly, as people say it, I get excited. I'm a fan, right? I go like, oh shit, that actually sounds awesome. They've had the public beef for a while. The rumor was, I guess, that, I guess Conor put out just a clip of him having a moment against Malignaggi, and Malignaggi was pissed because it was like, he's putting out sparring footage, making him look bad, when the reality is that apparently he handled Conor in sparring. Either way, that story and that bad blood sells. I'm fucking, out of everything that's been said about Conor recently, I'm sort of more excited about that than any of the other prospects.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I'm trying to listen to you, but Alfie's barking his fucking head off. Put him outside! My God.
He's got no balls. Come on, doggy. What are you doing?
Lose my mind. Well, he's got balls.
Give him
put him outside, dog.
Oh, did you get him the fake balls? You got him the nudicles?
Put him out. No. Baby's barking like fuck. Put him out. She's like, I can't put him out. It's raining. He's a German Shepherd. He's German and he's a shepherd. Okay, he's a German Shepherd. It's fucking cold in winter. Okay, he can handle the Californian rain. Okay,
he's German and he's a shepherd. Put him outside.
He's a fucking German Shepherd. Okay, so go outside and round up some sheep, do some stuff, take a dump, do whatever you want. Stop distracting me and barking so loud in this half mansion. Acoustics echoes like a motherfucker.
You need to fill it with more furniture. That's it. It's just too much.
Oh yeah, too much. Let me ask you this: if you were at home and they said, okay, $100, which is what the Mayweather McGregor fight was, I think, or something like that, would you pay $100 to watch McGregor versus Malignaggi box? No stream.
No.
Straight out of your pocket.
All right. Likely not, but probably. I mean, there's two things here, right? Like, if it was yes, I'm watching the fight. That's the answer. I'd more than likely go to a bar or I'd go to a friend's house. Usually me and a bunch of buddies get together. We'll go down to Ralph's house or Big J's apartment, Ari Shafir's place, and we have 10 people there. Nobody really gives a shit about money. Like, it's not like $100 to our crew isn't a big deal, right? So I'm just saying that if I was alone by myself, I probably just wouldn't spend the $100 on it. It's not worth the $100 to me. You're right. And I don't think it's worth the $100 to the average person walking down the street. But the average person down the street doesn't really fucking know. And it's Conor. Conor has enough to sell that fight. Him. I don't really know. I don't know enough about boxing. How big of a name was Paulie Malignaggi in boxing? He was sort of a middler, right?
Yeah, I don't think listen, he had a name. I knew his name before all this Conor talk, all that beef. I knew who he was. I was aware of him. But he was never a massive, massive star. He was a decent boxer. I spoke to Perillo about him. I mean, he had good things to say, but he was never, top of the food chain. I think he was world champion at one point, of one of the many, many belts and weight classes, which, has to be respected. Of course it does. I'm not trying to diminish him, but he's not a Floyd Mayweather, and he's not one of the big names. He's not a Canelo Alvarez. He was never somebody of that kind of star power, but a decent name in boxing, but his best days are behind him. But you combine all of that with a bit of beef and then with Conor's loyal fan base. I don't think Malignaggi, I'm sure he has boxing purists that, no disrespect to Malignaggi, that's not what I'm saying. I'm sure he has boxing purists that would root for him and cheer for him, but I don't know if he has a massive, massive following. And what's his social media following like?
200,000 Twitter followers, but how many did he have before he publicly beefed with Conor McGregor? That's what I'd like to know. How much did that number rise after Conor McGregor talking? You want to watch the back and forth on social media. You get a front row seat to it by clicking follow on him. And as you're saying it, the more you're saying it, I'm thinking to be honest with you, there are other fights out there that are bigger names that are probably as winnable for Conor, with older guys that have fallen off. Who are guys that Mayweather's beaten that Conor could even have a chance? How do you think Conor would do against let's say what's his name?
Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez. He beat him.
You think he'd beat Canelo Alvarez? Oh, no, I'm saying Conor.
Mayweather beat Alvarez. Oh, listen, no, I'm not trying to hate on Conor, but that wouldn't be a smart fight for him. No. Mayweather, that's not a good fight for Conor. No way, shape, or form.
I'm saying somebody more, further out of it, what's his name? Who just
Pacquiao? Pacquiao fights this weekend. He's fighting Adrian Broner on PBC, which replaces the UFC. I don't think someone like that would be a good idea either. Listen, the Mayweather style in that first fight kind of played into it. He's not a Mayweather isn't a knockout guy. But what I did want to get to this whole thing was, though, I didn't want to break down Malignaggi versus that, is that this all kind of started, I think, it didn't all start, but Khabib posted at the weekend, didn't he, the picture of him choking out Conor and said, you're going to live with this shame for the rest of your life.
Pull that up.
Because Conor did talk some shit on Instagram. I forget what it was. He said something, pull up Conor's thing. He said something, so then Khabib responded with that.
You will live the shame for the rest of your life. B.I. ... McTapper.
And then Nate Diaz chimes in. I slapped your head. You and your team didn't do shit. Live without your old pussies. To them, which Nurmagomedov came back. You were hiding behind security and ran away, you coward. It's clear on the video. And he tweets a video of an incident that happened at the World Series of Fighting. So, scandalous gossip, Lewis. It's all going on. Handbags at dawn. We got Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor, Khabib Nurmagomedov, and Malignaggi getting on like a bunch of fucking little sissies. It's awesome.
Yeah, I like it. They're all talking shit. They're getting people talking about the sport. Nate is always great. It's sort of just injecting himself. Nate's very silent, and then once in a while he'll throw a big old fucking bomb just for fun. But I mean, look, what do you do here? Nate hasn't fought in a while. I'd love to see, Nate go back down to 155 and fight Khabib. I think that, to be honest with you, he's got a better chance against Khabib than Conor has. I think Khabib ragdolls him. I think it's going to be a really tough fight for Nate either way. But he's got great jiu-jitsu, really good boxing, really long reach. He's a bigger fighter. Yes, Mr. Bisping.
Thank you, sir. Did you just say you think Nate has a better chance against Khabib than what Conor has? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Interesting take. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think Conor's more explosive. I don't know, actually. No, that's an interesting question, interesting topic of debate, because Nate has a better gas tank, so he wouldn't gas. I'm not saying Conor gassed in that fight. I actually think in the Khabib fight, Conor had an improved gas tank. He definitely made some improvements there. He was just beaten by the better guy. With the wrestling, the boxing, everything, you put it all together, Khabib was the better man. And I think we'd see a very, very similar scenario with Nate Diaz as well. In fact, a tweet emerged, did it not? An old tweet from Dana White. There's a story about it where Dana White tweeted they tried to make the fight between Nate Diaz and Khabib years ago. And apparently, according to Dana White, that Nate turned it down. Now, Nate came back and said, yeah, he turned it down at the time. And then Nate came back and said, no, I turned down the deal. Nate said, I've never turned down a fight in my life. The money wasn't right. If that's the case, that's fair enough. But yeah,
it's a little different. It's easy to say somebody turned down a fight. It's like, no, I will take that fight. I just want it to be for something different. So that's fair.
Yeah, no, it really is. It really is. But listen, Nate Diaz, if you're listening to this, just fucking fight somebody, because soon, I've said this before about Nick, and I'll say it about Nate, and it applies to a lot of people out there, but mainly the Diaz brothers, if I'm honest. They need to fight. Their career is passing them by. Their time is passing them by. Their time in their prime does not last forever. And before you know it, they're going to be a shadow of them former selves. That's how it happens. That's what goes on in fighting. It is a cruel, cruel business. So just fucking fight, earn yourself some money, do everyone a favor, and fulfill your legacy. What else we got, Lewis?
Well, who's the fight you want to see? If Nate came back right now, he's only going to take a big, huge fight. And the reality is, the way the UFC has been, I mean, they recognize the opportunity with Nate Diaz. You're not going to put Nate in anything but a big, huge fight. It was remember they were going to put him against Dustin Poirier, and that was weird. It was almost like really? It was, and Dustin's unbelievable. It just didn't feel like a super fight. And it feels like the Diaz brothers, Conor, these guys only go into super fights. But even with the booking with John Jones and Anthony Smith, it seems like the UFC seems to be leaning back toward just putting on the fights that should happen, which is great.
Yeah, going back to who Conor should fight, it's like what you said before. If he keeps losing, that's not good for the brand. It's not good for the stock. And I think if he was to fight Khabib again, which they are trying to do by all accounts, he loses, so he lost his last two in the UFC, and then he lost to Floyd. It would have been a while since we've seen him win. And as I said, that affects your star. If I'm managing Conor McGregor, and if I'm the UFC, I do the Nate Diaz rematch. You do the third one because there's a very, very strong possibility. More than likely, I'd put my money on Conor winning that fight. It's a massive fight. It gets Conor back in the win column. Everyone makes a lot of money, and Conor's star power is somewhat protected. That's the fight that makes sense. It really does. I don't know why they would, or maybe a Max Holloway. He can't fight. If they can't do Khabib, which I wouldn't advise, then I'd say Nate Diaz, of course, because the trilogy needs to happen, and everybody wants to see that. It set records the second fight, so I'm assuming that would do huge business again. And as I say, it gets Nate Diaz back, it gets Conor back in the win column if he was to win. So that, for me, is the fight to make.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Nate Diaz fight makes the most sense. It's a rubber match. It makes the most sense. It's a winnable fight. But it's funny, as you were saying that, I do think Conor would win the fight, but also I think Nate has a better chance against Khabib. When they say styles make fights, it's so funny. It's so apparent right there, because I legitimately believe that. Look, I also think Khabib wins that fight. I think Khabib beats any of these guys at 155. I think he's just a monster. But I've said it on the end of year show, and I really strongly believe this. If I'm Conor McGregor, if I'm his people, the move is to go down to 145 pounds. That's it. Go back down to 145 pounds. I know he doesn't want to. I know it's hard for him to. He's tasted fucking, success and blah, blah, blah.
No. You're out of your mind. But, and I was about to say a statement. I was about to say, you're right. Khabib is the best out there. At 155, He's the man. Nobody's going to beat him anytime soon. But, and you brought up the year-end awards or bold predictions, which weren't really that bold, so we apologize. But we didn't mention Tony Ferguson. And I did see in the comment section, some people were like, what? Tony Ferguson gets no love? Out of everybody, Tony Ferguson has the best chance of beating Khabib, in my opinion. You know, He just does. He's got an awkward style. He's tough as hell. He's got a great chin, excellent jiu-jitsu, cardio for days, and he's an animal, you know? So I think Tony Ferguson has a good chance of beating Khabib. I don't think he would, but he definitely has a very, very good chance.
Yeah, I agree. I think out of everybody, but forget that. I'm talking about the move for Conor specifically. The only move to make if he wants to reclaim his status as the fucking baddest man on the planet, quote unquote, right, is drop back down to 145 pounds. I think he can beat Max. You know, it's not a foregone conclusion, but I think he can. And then, holy shit, wow, moving up to 155 was just this big crazy experiment. He tried 170, 155. He went over and boxed. Conor will do anything. You know, he's a fucking madman. But 145 is his true home. He never even lost a 145-pound title. He just comes back and takes his title. It's a beautiful story, and it gives him everything that he needs in order to, you know, we said it before, you need to be unbeatable. You need to have that perceived, I'm the baddest man at this weight division, and I don't think he can do it at 145. I don't think he can do it at 170. Or I'm sorry, I don't think he can do it at 155 or 170. 145 is the only out. It's the only out.
Conor is never going to fight at 145 again. Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth, Lewis. Pay attention, okay? Pay attention.
Oh, please.
He's not fighting at 145 ever again.
All I want is it to happen, and then we can take this moment, mark it down, a day that will live in infamy, where Michael Bisping gets to be wrong twice in one show. Oh, my dear God in heaven. I will literally, I'll kill myself. I'll put a bullet in my mouth because that'll be the top of the mountain. It'll never get better than that. 2 times in one show? Shit. There he is. There's Conor. Thanks.
Looking like TJ Dillashaw.
Oh, that's 145. He is sucked out.
Yeah.
But he was a monster. He was a monster. What he did to Jose Aldo was unheard of. Chad Mendes couldn't take him down and keep him down. I mean, come on.
Jesus Christ, how hard are you sucking his dick on this episode?
At 145?
Oh, my God.
145?
He couldn't do this. Oh, my God. It's like, whoa, bro, just, you know, calm yourself down a little bit, Lewis. Jesus Christ. All right, let's just take a quick second to hear from one of our regular supporters. We are talking about betdsi.com. Love fighting, love making money. The two go hand in hand. Listen to my picks and put some money on BetDSI. You can make some money. We have a big fight this weekend. Cejudo taking on TJ Dillashaw. We got Henry Cejudo coming in as an underdog, but Henry Cejudo, you know, 125 champion, Olympic gold medalist. I mean, his athletic endeavors are second to none, I would say, inside the UFC. So if you want to put some money on, there's no better place to do it than betdsi.com. They have a history of fast payments, excellent customer service, been in business for over 10 years, A+ rated on all sportsbook review sites. Realistically, if you want to bet some money online, do it through betdsi.com. Super, super easy to do. Some of the apps are a little complicated. BetDSI, it's an absolute piece of piss. It's a walk in the park. And we have a great deal for you, Lewis.
Yeah, pretty easy, guys. BetDSI.com is a website. Go there right now. If you use the promo code BYM120, we're going to give you a 60% bonus match on anything up to $1,000. So if you bet $500, basically you guys are going to get to play with an extra, why would I do hard math? You get to play with $800. There we go. It's an extra $300. Up to $1,000, you get a 60% bonus match on anything you spend. $100, you get an extra 60. Yeah, make sure you use that promo code BYM120. That lets BetDSI know that we sent you there. Also, just understand, if you opt in for the bonus match, there is a rollover period for that money. So if you play with that bonus cash, you have to bet a certain amount of times before you can cash out. If you decide not to use the bonus cash, you get to cash out right away. So just know the way you're betting before you go there to avoid any confusion. Once again, betdsi.com, and use that promo code BYM120. It'll let them know that we sent you there. All right, let's get back into it.
What? Oh, shit, what?
I forgot about a story we didn't do last week. We'll do it later on in the show after we get Darren Till on. But there was the 91-year-old man who got caught using steroids. He was a biker.
Yeah, we talked about it. I'm sure we. All right, well, whatever.
Positive.
All right, well, it's not that good of a story, but I told my wife about it. I heard all about it. It's not that good. But Shannon, you want to try and get Darren Till on the phone while we insult one another for another second? But
well, I'll take a moment. Let us do some plugs really quick while we're getting Darren Till on.
Well, you've already kind of done one, so I just want to set up Darren Till's fight while she gets him. So a little intro into it. March 16th. We don't know whether or not he's going to fight. March traditionally seems to be the month where UFC goes to London at the O2 Arena. It is happening again, but as I said, no main event has been announced. I'll be there. Very much looking forward to that. Masvidal's been calling him out. Obviously, Darren, after his last fight against Woodley, there was speculation whether or not he's going to move up to 185. We'll find out whether that's the plan in a moment, and whether or not he wants to fight Masvidal. But I would say Till should be the main event in London. I mean, right now, I can't think of a better person.
Yeah, obviously, Till's a massive star in England, with the exiting of Michael Bisping. I mean, really, they needed to fill the shoes somewhere. And Till's the man. I really like it. And to be honest with you, as much as we shit on Jorge Masvidal, I like him as a bad guy. I like him as he's a tough fighter. He comes in, he's really, he's just a really tough matchup and a really exciting style. Even though I hate him, even though I don't like him, he's undeniably exciting, and it's fun to root for him to lose. We do have Darren Till on the line, by the way.
Oh, we do. Darren, what's up, buddy? Can you hear me? Darren?
Hello?
What's going on, mate? How you doing?
What's happening, mate? You okay, yeah?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Hey, listen, thanks for taking the time to speak to us today. You're on with me and Lewis on the Believe You Me podcast, mate. Yeah. So we were just talking about UFC London, mate. Are you going to be on the card or what? What's going on?
Yeah, I think so, mate. They're just trying to find me a opponent now, the best possible main event for London. So, I'm definitely 100% on it, mate. It just depends who against.
Yeah, well, there's a total bellend out there that I can't stand by the name of Jorge Masvidal. He's been calling you out on Twitter. Is there any? Is that likely to happen or what?
Well, I didn't see the call out till just now on Twitter, mate. So I've just retweeted it. So if the UFC want to make that happen, mate, that's as I said, Michael. Whoever it's against doesn't really matter. So if it's against Masvidal, then that's the main event for London.
Well, that's a good fight. And sorry, go ahead, Lewis.
Mike, please go ahead. Don't worry.
No. I was trying to get your attention, mate. Just look at the monitor. Sometimes I'm waving at you for you to go, but you didn't look.
No, I was looking. I was.
Oh, my apologies. Anyway, Darren, yeah, he's a total fucking knobhead, right? I don't like that guy one bit. So if you do fight him, is that going to be at 170? And please smash his face in. But remember when you lost to Woodley, there was a lot of talk of you going up to 185. What happened with all that? Are you going to fight at 185 or stay at 170?
I'm definitely going to fight at 185, but just because I made such a big deal out of the cut myself, because obviously I missed weight in Liverpool, and the cut turned out to be surprisingly easy for it was just easy, mate. So I can still say it welterweight for a few more fights. That's what I've got in my head, and then obviously move up to 185. But for now, I can still make the welterweight cut, and so I think I'm going to stay at welterweight.
Yeah, now you say, the idea of moving up to 185, if you did make that move, is there anybody in particular that you think you match up well against?
Stylebender.
Ooh. Well, it's funny. We talked on the show specifically about that being the fight to make. And is that something that you just would want to do? And is something you're throwing out there now, or is it something that you've spoken to the UFC about?
Yeah, I'm always asking Sean, for the biggest and the hardest challenges. Obviously, you've seen that in my last fight against, the champion. I just want to fight the best, mate, and I think at middleweight right now, Stylebender's one of the, the best. Not all rounded, but I think striker versus striker. Me coming from a striking background and him himself, and I think it'd just be a good matchup. So, that's definitely a fight I want in the future.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I mean, Israel, he talks a good game as well. Of course, he fights well as well. So I think that would be an amazing fight. And obviously the build up to it would be a lot of fun. But just going back to the Woodley fight for a second, myself in my career, whenever I lost a fight, that's when you learn the most. Is there anything you can take away from that fight that maybe you're going to change in preparation going forward?
Yeah, there's two things. One is I've always been so calm fighting, and for that fight I was so overly confident and just in my head knew that I was going to be the champion. That just beforehand I just didn't really psych myself up enough. I was in the changing rooms just not really wanting to warm up at anything with my coach, and I think I went into the fight more calm than usual, and Woodley came in, full of nerves, as he said in the post-fight press conference. He was scared, he was nervous. So I think that next, obviously going forward now, I'm going to warm myself up a lot better, have a bit more of aggression walking out to the octagon. And the second thing is, I let like a lot of people get into my head before that fight because of my weight cut, and I focused more on the weight cut, that being my fight, than actually focusing on the champion and him being the real fight. And I think all my attention was drawn to making weight. And then when I finally made weight, it was like, oh yeah, I'm fighting, one of the best fighters ever in welterweight. So, I'm never gonna let that happen again. I think that's two mistakes I made in that fight.
Yeah, it's weird because a lot of the time when you're trying to make the weight class, the whole camp becomes about making weight. And then you kind of forget the fucking main reason you're doing that is you can fight your opponent. I've fallen foul to myself, to that myself, Darren. So, I fully understand what you're saying. And also the first thing that you said about, trying to find the right level and balance of emotions. I mean, I've been there. Sometimes I've gone out there too hyped up, and that nearly cost me a fight. And then when I fought Matt Hamill, I was like, right, calm down. Don't be hyped up. I walked out. I was waving at my mom, blowing a kiss to my bird and all that. And then fucking the guy runs out and he's nearly smashing my fucking head in. So it is a very, very difficult thing to just find that right balance. And I don't think a lot of people appreciate that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, mate.
Yeah. Now, I remember, going into the last fight, you sort of received some flack from the press because a statement you had made was sort of, I guess, taken out of context. What they had taken from it, I guess you were saying you were putting your UFC legacy ahead of your family, which, by the way, congratulations on the birth of your second daughter.
Oh, thank you, mate. Thanks, mate.
Incredible. But, number one, talk to us a little bit about that, because I know that was something that was sort of taken out of context, and sort of talk to me about where you look at now, following that loss. How do you look at your UFC legacy, and sort of how do you see this loss affecting that?
Well, the comments, obviously everything that the media always takes things out of context. That's what they're there for, to do that type of stuff. And it's just like basically like the way I mean it is right now, fighting has to be the most important thing in my life for their futures, for obviously my girlfriend and my kids' futures. And right now the attention can't be on them that much until I retire, and then I can sit back, look back on a great career of fighting, and have a nice bank account, don't have to worry about bills and shit like that. But if I divide my tension up now between friends, family, and missing training sessions because I've got to run my daughter somewhere, that'll play a big part in my career as a fighter, and I can't let it do that. So that's what I basically meant, was like the only thing that I really care about now is training hard and being one of the greatest ever, because that'll show in the future. You know what I mean?
100% down. In fact, I said that at the time because I saw a lot of headlines, people trying to talk shit about you. I was like, no, people don't understand unless you've been a fighter. There can't be anything else. When you're trying to get ready for a fight, it's got to be all or nothing. So I totally understood what you meant there, mate. So anyway, going back to the fight. So hopefully it's Masvidal and maybe 185. Yeah. In a perfect world, how do you see this year playing out for you?
I just want to fight, mate. I want to fight maybe 3 times, and see what happens with you know, because I'm still number 2. And you know, Usman and Woodley are fighting now, and after this fight, I don't see Woodley fighting straight away again. Even though like Dana's always pushing him to fight, you know, I see him taking a bit of time off. And to be honest, I see him beating Usman. I think in that fight, I just think Woodley's going to beat Usman. So, you know, we'll see. If I beat Masvidal on London, I fight him. And then if Colby finds some balls, fight him maybe, and you know, we see what happens. I'm not eager to you know, straight away fight and then get a rematch with the champion. You know, I just want to, as I say, mate, I just want to beat everyone. That's what I want to do. I want to beat everyone, so there's no questions left that I didn't miss anyone out.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of Woodley, how do you see him and the Usman fight going down?
I think it could either be a good fight or a boring fight. I just don't see where Usman's a good fighter. I just don't see where he beats Woodley, because I just don't think he can take Woodley down, and I don't think he's got the power standing up to match Woodley. I think Woodley's got more power than Usman. Like, you know, I felt one of Woodley's hardest shots, and trust me, mate, he can bang. So I just don't see where Usman wins that fight. You know, maybe on a better you know, cardio or something. But Woodley's been the 5 rounds, so he knows what it takes. So I just think that Woodley's going to take that fight, mate.
And
what do you think? Oh, sorry, Lewis, go ahead.
Sorry, Mike. What about? I mean, with the Woodley fight, do you take something away from that fight? Because there were a lot of rumors about the Colby Covington fight with you, and that would be a fight, Masvidal or Covington. Obviously, we talk shit about both those guys on this show, so either, you know, pick your poison. We would love to see you fight and win against either one of those guys. I think the fans are both, you know, either one of those fights they'd be happy with as well. But did you take anything away from that Woodley fight that you could use against Colby? You know, being that wrestling is his base.
Not really, to be honest, because Woodley couldn't take me down. I'm not really worried about wrestling because Woodley's the strongest in the first round, and to be honest, it felt like I was just pushing him off me. He couldn't fucking, you know, he couldn't take me down. That's the, you know, everyone's talking about wrestling. There's, you know, in all my UFC fights, no one's been able to take me down yet. So, you know, unless Colby can do that, which I don't think he can. You know, people talk about my ground game and that, and there's a lot of things I do need to work on. But, you know, if you're talking about wrestling, you can get me down, but you'll have to hold me there as well, and I can get back to my feet, you know. So that really is no. I train every day wrestling because I know it's the most important part in MMA. And ever since I went off to Brazil and whatever, that's all I did every day was train me get-ups and train me wrestling defence. And I know I'm a really good wrestler, so that's not really worrying. You know, the Woodley fight, what I took from that was, you know, just as I told Mike about them few mistakes. But with regards to wrestling, I'm going to be totally honest. I'm not too worried about Colby, Usman, or Woodley's wrestling. I'm not worried about it in the slightest because I know I do the right things to train for them guys.
I think we can all agree, though, that wrestlers are a fucking pain in the ass. Pissed me off my entire career. Just stand and fight, please. But just talking about Colby Covington for a minute. What do you think of this whole thing? Obviously, he's bitching because he never got the title shot. What do you make of it all?
Well, I think aside from the fact that Colby's a dickhead, I think, yeah, he did deserve the shot because he did beat a lot of guys to get there, and obviously he did win the interim belt. And he was only stripped of that when I fought Woodley. I'll be honest, I think he's scared to fight Woodley. I don't think he wants to fight. I think he's making out he wants to fight, but I don't think he wants to fight, or I think he wants to fight on his terms. Now, that being said, mate, it's the UFC you're talking about. There's no terms negotiable. If they want you to fight, you have to fight unless you can come up with a good injury or excuse. And, you know, it is how it is, mate. It's the same thing with the Dana thing. Like, he's talking shit about Dana. Listen, if I said it the other day, if I had a problem with Dana, I've got his number. I'd just message him and say, have you got a fucking problem with me or something? I wouldn't say it out on... I just think it's bad. I just think it looks stupid. I just think it looks like you're bitching and it looks stupid, and I just don't come from that background, mate. So, you know, he's doing what he's doing, mate. He'll probably end up getting kicked out of the UFC, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Colby is trying to create. It's sort of like a deliberate move to create this brand as like being the bad boy, and I don't give a fuck about Dana or the UFC.
Yeah, but if you want to create a brand now, you're bad boy. Don't let people throw boomerangs at you in Australia, because if someone's done that to me, mate, I'd rip the fucking face off. So he's not really that much of a bad boy, is he?
Thank you, fucking Darren. That's exactly what I said. Thank you, because he goes around making out he's this fucking hard man, and then he gets a boomerang thrown at him and goes straight to the business.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
one absolute fucking. I've got no words. I've got no words for it. You can't play both sides of the coin. You can't be a fucking badass hard man and then run off to the cops soon as fucking it bites you in the ass. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, mate. We appreciate you joining us. Go on, Lewis. You got your hand up there.
Well, I was gonna say, as it relates, to you, is that something that you're really conscious of? Do you worry about your brand, the way you're being perceived, the way fans are kind of taking you in?
No, mate, I'm just me. If you talk about like brand and following and social media and that, it's quite strong. I got a guy who works for me, and he's got like, a gorilla t-shirt thing that's set up, and it's just, people just love the way I am, because I'm real and I'm honest, mate, and I say what comes off my mind. There's no way script there, and sometimes I do say controversial things, but look back through history, every great fighter's always been a controversial fighter. So I just think in the long run, if you yourself and you speak your mind openly and honestly, I think people really know who is the real people and who are like faking it, and people can see that Colby's just faking it. If you go back on Colby when he first started in the UFC, he was just like a nice guy, and then all of a sudden he's turned into, as you say, a bad boy. I'm just me from the start till the finish, and people will come and people will try and tell you to do it this way or that way, and from me, they just get told to fuck off. So I just think, just be yourself, and it's all good, mate.
Couldn't agree more, mate. 100%. Well, listen, thanks for joining us, Darren. Really appreciate it, mate. I know you're a busy man. So, look after yourself, and hopefully see you in London, mate. Yeah, thanks, mate. Appreciate it. See you later.
Good luck on everything, brother.
All the best, pal.
Thanks, mate. Bye-bye.
Take care. Well, there he is, Darren Till, the gorilla.
Very cool.
That was nice of him to take time out of his day there, because we just messaged him, Jesus Christ, right before we went live on air. Lewis, you're a bit cold there, pal, putting on a big, massive jacket.
Fucking freezing in here. Holy shit.
Listen, when I come in on Thursday, I don't want none of this cold studio bollocks. I want the heating cranked up. I want it nice. I want it the perfect temperature, though. I don't want it too hot to where I'm sweating. I want it the perfect temperature. I don't drink alcohol, but I'll have a couple of beers. I expect, I expect a nice, warm reception.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a party. It's going to be Believe You Me, Thursday night, the Believe You Me party. We should get a couple fans in here.
Ooh, okay.
We should do. Good. How could we?
Interesting. Well, yeah, set it up. I mean, that might be fun. Get a live audience.
Let's not go crazy.
They'll steal. I'm going to say they'll steal everything in the studios. You'll look around. There's no cameras, laptops, anything. Sounds like he doesn't like. What's his face? Colby there, Darren.
Yeah.
Saying all the same things that I feel. I mean, Colby did kind of go down the Chael Sonnen route all of a sudden. But it worked for Chael, and it seems to.
Chael's likable.
Chael's very likable.
Here's the thing. It worked for Chael because it became... Here's what Chael did, right? Chael does it so tongue-in-cheek. It's so obviously a bit that if you get angry at it, you look like a fool. Like, if you're actually going like... when people are like losing their minds over things that Chael Sonnen says, you're like, are you an idiot? He's literally taking quotes from Ric Flair and Arn Anderson from old wrestling promos and just repurposing them for current MMA fighters, and it's so obviously like a character that you have to laugh at it and appreciate it. And he also executed it very well. He was executing it on a high level, like he talks very well, and then what he was doing was a bit. It wasn't like the real Chael Sonnen's like a dad, and it's like a fucking conservative dude, and like it's just not. I don't know. It was, if you didn't get it, you were stupid.
Yeah, no, I've said it time and time again, and I was messaging with Chael this morning. I was trying to get him on the show because Tito Ortiz is trying to make another fight between Tito and Chael. So I reached out to Chael, see if he could do the show. Unfortunately, he was on a plane flying to Connecticut for ESPN duties. And I'll be working. I don't know if I'll be working with Chael, but obviously I'm part of the ESPN team now, so that'll be fun.
Tell him to come in on Thursday.
Maybe Thursday night. Let me try. Let me see if we
We'll get him.
Dude,
We'll get it.
Fucking up.
Tell him we'll get him an
Get him a
Uber.
car service.
We'll get him a car. Connecticut's like an hour away. It's not bad, dude. We'll get him. Well, let's make sure it's not like 4 hours away in Connecticut. But
Yeah. Well, he might be in the city by then for the fight. You know what I mean? So, but I said, listen, do you want to come on and talk about the potential Tito fight? I won't divulge what he said in the message, but it sounds like that fight between Tito and Chael is not going to be happening. I don't know if it is, but you could say, believe you me, breaking news there.
why is Tito angling for that fight?
I don't know, because they've been talking shit back and forth. They've been tweeting back and forth, Tito and Chael again. So I'm not sure what the the origin of it all is, but they've got bad blood. They don't like each other. But as you said, going back to Chael's like antics, his persona, yeah, that's what he does. And he said some nasty things about Tito when they fought. But if you meet Chael Sonnen, he's the nicest, just most decent human being you could wish to meet. Other than taking shitloads of steroids when you fight him, which you might have a bit of an issue with. I did. Other than that, hell of an American.
Doesn't he have like fucking one ball and he's like 50? I mean, come on, leave the guy alone. Let him take some steroids.
Yeah, I said that when we fought. I said, the word on the street is you've only got one testicle. And I don't care which way you slice it. That's not enough balls to fight me. Which I thought was a pretty good line back in the day. Bam, 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 bam. All right, so all right, let's have a look at some notes. What else we got? Masvidal versus Till. We've done that.
We got the fight this weekend, which is big. I think we should really get into that.
Yeah. Well, I was going to save most of that for Thursday's show, but we can talk about some of it. I want to talk about TJ Dillashaw. Obviously, he's going down from 135 to 125, and the big narrative that we see. I don't know. While I'm talking, maybe pull it up, Harrington. A picture of TJ. Everybody's going on that he's so ripped and that he's having a great time getting down to 125 and he feels stronger, which is great. It really is. But sometimes, yeah, there you go. Cejudo doesn't look bad either, man. Cejudo looks strong as hell. TJ always looks good, though. I'll tell you what, man. They're both in great shape. Great shape. I mean, Cejudo's shorter, but he looks the bigger of the two. He looks the stronger of the two, but TJ is a little taller. I think we've hit an all-time low. We're comparing people, men's physiques on the Believe You Me podcast.
I enjoy it, guys.
They're both hot as fuck, man.
Shannon,
I mean, if you had to pick one, Shannon, who would you go with?
Not this one, the other one.
Yeah.
Cejudo?
Better. The other one. Switch.
Yeah, pull up a picture of
yeah, that's
Cejudo.
better.
And now go back to TJ.
What do you prefer?
The one with the darker hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, why? What is it you prefer about him?
I don't know. The other one's rib cage is weird, and I like the dark hair. It looks meaner.
Yeah. First of all, they're both 4'11".
Oh, never mind.
So
they're both what?
4'11".
They're both what?
4'11". And 125 pounds. These are tiny little men. Shannon doesn't want that. Shannon wants a fucking big meaty guy.
Note to self: don't have a weird rib cage if you're trying to get with Shannon. You weird rib caging looking motherfuckers out there. Unlucky. Okay, you got a weird rib cage. She don't play no weird rib cages, bro.
She's more into like what's his name? The
Anthony Smith.
No. But you were in Anthony Smith. But what's his name? Aquaman. You like that guy?
Yeah.
Khal Drago.
Jason Momoa. Yeah, Khal Drago. Everyone likes Khal Drago.
Yeah. Do you see the controversy where they were saying that he like grabbed a young fan's breast on camera? It's all just
what? Because he put his arm around her by accident and it accidentally touched her boob.
Yeah, and apparently it was his daughter, right? It's all like, dude, it's such clickbait horseshit. They love to make. My girlfriend showed me. She's like, look, he's molesting a fan. And I'm like, first of all, I didn't even know it was a fan. I was like, he's got 1,000 cameras on him. He's in the biggest movie in the world right now. Do you think he's going to go, oh, me a cop a feel on this 12-year-old girl really quick?
Yeah.
In this moment.
At that moment in time on the red carpet with the world's media is like, ooh, he just couldn't resist being a nonce. Being a little dirty pedophile. He's like, oh, sorry, the urge is too strong. I have to grab her tits. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ.
And people don't use their logic.
How bad do you think men are? How bad do you think men are? We cannot control it for 2 seconds. My God. That reminds me of when I was on my honeymoon in Maui. and we went to a luau. It's like a traditional Hawaiian festival. They cook food, they put a show on, they have dances and stuff. And the dancers came out and they had like little coconuts as bras. And when I was leaving, they wanted a picture, which was very nice. I said, yeah, of course, no problem. And I'm backing up. And they were all standing there. They were kind of on a curb. And as I backed up, I didn't know the curb was there. And I went to fall. And I put my hands out to stop myself. And I grabbed both of their tits. And as the person took the picture, I actually had my hands on their tits because it was keeping me up, So, Momoa, I've been there, buddy. It's all good.
Of course,
it's all good.
Yeah. We could all have those accidents 2 or 3 times in your life. You could accidentally fall into a girl's tits.
Do you want to see the video?
No. I just, yeah, come on, show me the video.
Show me the video. Here it is.
Here he is.
See, and then they zoom in on his hand. They zoom in on the on the right, I guess the right. Look, they zoom in on his hand now. Look.
Oh, he's got a little finger touching there. Oh, little touchy.
Watch her hand. She moves his hand.
Oh,
Watch. Now,
hold on a minute.
First of all, if it's Jason Momoa and a fan, she's not moving his hand. She's like, "What? Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, for sure. That's if it's his daughter, he's not thinking like that. That's just it's his daughter. He's having a great time,
Even if
but it is hilarious.
Great time.
It's but like there was a little finger twitching, but I don't think he was trying to cop a feel. It was just
Just want to make sure she was alive.
Yeah, he's like, you good down there, girl? People, I tell you, there's scumbags around. Jesus Christ, man. Jesus.
But it's to even go there,
Jesus.
I just use logic, and I go, he's the one of the biggest movie stars in the world right now. There's cameras. He's on a red carpet taking pictures. There's video. He's going to throw it all away. Just for a little flick of a finger.
For a little Me Too madness on the red carpet. Oh, Jason Momoa had his arm around somebody. Number one, you can't do that these days. You're objectifying women. And then to actually cop a feel. Then it comes out that it's his daughter. I mean, come on. Jesus Christ, people get a grip. It didn't happen. Where were we then? What have we got other than like breaking down?
Oh yeah, the bodies of these tiny men.
The biggest movie star of being a fucking pedophile, which I don't sign off on, and that isn't my words. That is Louis J. Gomez. But so we got TJ Dillashaw. We got TJ Dillashaw. The thing is, he's saying he feels great now, but the problem is. And I know this. I think I spoke to somebody recently. Who did we have on? And I said, getting down to 185 for so long in my career definitely took a toll on me. And in training camp, I felt great. But by the time the fight came, so much dieting, I was weak. I was so weak and I wasn't the best version of myself. So TJ may fall foul to that. I'm sure he's got a great team around him. I'm sure he's got nutritionists and things like that and everybody helping him get him dialed in just right. But that is the danger. Of course, this is unprecedented. TJ is going from 135 down to 125. So it's TJ that has nothing to lose in this instance. Normally, it's the lower weight class going up to challenge. So, like DC going up to heavyweight, Conor going from 45 to 55. Normally, that's the way around it is. This time, TJ is going down. So TJ is the one with no pressure because he's not going to lose his belt. There's
still pressure because you're losing to a guy that's smaller than you that you should beat. I mean, there's like the pressure of it's embarrassing. If you lose to the 125-pound champion, you can essentially say that I would feel like I'm not, like my championship isn't as valuable. I would feel like, shit, dude, the guy that's smaller than me beat me. He really is the rightful owner of this belt because it's not like he would have, if we were fighting heavier. I mean, I guess there's something to say about not having to lose the weight so TJ wouldn't be at that disadvantage. But if he loses to Cejudo, I feel like Cejudo, number one, obviously would get a shot at the 135-pound title because it makes sense. But I think it would be massively embarrassing at the very least for TJ, and it would fuck with his ego.
Oh, for sure. 100%. 100%. I mean, listen, when you're a fighter, you don't want to lose a fight, period. Whether you're the champion or not, whether you're the champion in the main event or the first fight on Fight Pass prelims, you don't want to lose. You've put all that time and effort into a fight. You've put so much time into preparation, sacrifice. You haven't been chasing money elsewhere, saying no to a lot of potential opportunities, time away from your family. You do not want to lose a fight regardless. But of course, you don't want to lose to a smaller guy because that rubs a little salt in the wound for sure. I think, though, on paper, TJ should win this pretty comfortably. I'll save my predictions because I'm going to be doing it on TV, and we have another show on Thursday. But I mean, if you look at it, TJ's got the better footwork. He's got the better striking for sure. He's very unpredictable. He's got more experience in the UFC. He's beaten some fantastic competition as well. He has a higher finishing rate. He has more tools. He's got tremendous kicks, excellent striking. He's a very, very good wrestler himself. Of course, he's not Olympic gold medal standard like Cejudo is, but he's a very, very good wrestler. And MMA wrestling and wrestling are two very different things. So I think the wrestling will, for the most part, be nullified, and it'll become a striking match, of which I favor TJ Dillashaw. He's probably faster as well.
Yeah, you're probably right about all that. But you never know. I mean, you never know. I think nobody saw Demetrius Johnson losing that fight. And you know what? Cejudo, once again, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Once you have UFC gold around your waist, once you taste that success, I think a lot of other things open up to you. I think you see the true potential in a guy once he becomes the champion. And, you know, you could speak to that probably, more than most people in the world can. But I don't know. I think this is going to be a really big test for Cejudo. I have no idea. It's kind of, it's a weird thing. It's a big question mark for Cejudo. I have no idea really how good he is, because that division that he's the champion of, it's such a thin division without that much competition.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is. And this will be a big opportunity for both guys. This is the first fight on ESPN, ESPN Plus. So if you don't have the app, go out and buy it, because it's not an advert, but it's $4.99. If you like MMA, you like UFC, $4.99. Come on, everyone can afford that. And you get to see yours truly breaking down the fights on Friday with Karen Bryant, myself, Rashad Evans. So come on, guys, what the fuck? And it's actually a really, really good card. Some great fights from top to bottom. But one that I do want to talk about, get your opinion, is Greg Hardy takes on, what's his name, Harrington? Who's he taking on?
Alan Crowder.
It's a heavyweight. Alan Crowder. Now, Greg Hardy, for those that don't know much about the NFL or American football, for the English listeners or whatever, Greg Hardy was a standout NFL player. He had a terrific career. If you have any stats or any more info, please feel free to say them. But he was involved in a charge of domestic abuse. Apparently, he beat his wife up pretty good. Apparently, he was thrown out of the NFL, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm getting this wrong, I apologize. And I think he had a massive, massive contract, something like $40 million or something crazy like that.
Wow.
He was charged criminally, I think, and he was kicked out of the NFL. Since then, he's what's the word I'm looking for?
Rehabilitated?
Not rehabilitated. That he may have done that. We'll see. But he's repackaged himself as an MMA fighter, and he had one fight. What's the word I'm looking for? Rebranded. What the fuck is that word?
Retarded.
Retarded. Yes, you are. Good one. No, but he fought in the Contender Series last year in Vegas, and I was there commentating. And this is a big, big, powerful guy. Now, when you think about premier athletes, big, strong guys. I mean, guys in the NFL, they're fucking crazy, man. There's a reason why they get paid so much money, because they are freak athletes. The speed and the power that these guys have is insane. And that was on display in his first fight on the Contender Series. He fought another footballer, I forget the guy's name, and he hit him with I think it was a left hook or a right hook, and the guy spun round in a fucking 360. It was insane. Hit him with such power. He spun round and boom, hit him with another shot, and I was there. I was like, holy shit. That was scary. That was really scary. Now, of course, all the controversy is that he shouldn't be getting rewarded because of the controversy surrounding, not the controversy surrounding the fact that he fucking beat his wife up. Now, myself, I detest anyone that hits a woman. 100% I do. And to make matters worse, we have Rachel Ostovich on the card. This isn't breaking news. We all know about this. It's been talked about everywhere. But Rachel Ostovich is on the card. She was recently beaten by her husband. That was a big deal as well. So they're talking about all this crazy controversy that he's on the card with Rachel. I know how I feel about it. How do you feel about that, Lewis?
Well, first of all, fact check. How much of what Michael Bisping said about Greg Hardy was correct? Is this because I want to give my opinion based off of sort of some of these facts?
Hey, everything I said is fucking on the money, Harrington. Before you contradict me, but go ahead with maybe some finer details.
Yes, sir. He was a 2013 Pro Bowler. He was on the second team All-Pro in 2013. He was about to get a massive contract. The Panthers gave him the franchise tag, paying him $14 million for one season. In that season, the domestic violence stuff came out. He was then cut by the Panthers. Cowboys picked him up, tried to make it work. Eventually, he was run out of the NFL.
Okay, so the domestic violence stuff, was he arrested for it? What's the deal with that?
Yeah, he had a domestic violence charge. The finer details of it, from what I understand, he threw his girlfriend into a pile of guns.
I'm sorry. No.
Listen, I am not making light of domestic violence at all. But I'll say this to any would-be wife beaters out there: when you're beating your wife, do not throw them into a pile of guns. Okay?
It's just a hilariously violent act.
I'm sorry. Yeah, hey, come here, you bitch. I'm going to throw you into a pile of guns. What?
Oh, shit. Oh, man.
I'm sorry. I should not laugh because it's not funny, but it's just a twist of. And he threw her into a pile of guns.
Oh,
a
my
pile
God.
of guns. You couldn't write that. That's insane.
That's so fucking funny. It's cartoonish. He dropped an anvil on her head. What happened?
That would be painful, though. Guns are, metal objects. That would be very, very painful. I'm not making light of it. It's just somewhat ironic that he threw it into a life-ending weapon.
Greg Hardy accused of beating girlfriend, throws her into a pile of guns. What was the accused? Did they work it out? Did he go to jail? What was the sort of the result of this? Like, that's sort of that really depends on my opinion here, because I have to be consistent with sort of the way that I look at life, which is if a man is accused and then simply that, like, I don't believe you should take away anybody, man or woman, their ability to make money, especially if they've invested their entire lives into something, an art, a sport, whatever it is, based off of an accusation, to have everything taken away and not have the ability to make money in a sport or whatever it is. If this is especially the only way that he really knows how to make money, I'm sort of sympathetic toward that. I look at that as being kind of fucked up. But if it's a guy who was arrested, beat the shit out of his wife, is just a fucking scumbag, my dollars as a fan, I don't want to give my money to that guy. So essentially, if I'm buying a UFC pay-per-view, I'm paying him, and I don't believe in that. And then people are, I believe in the free market. People will not spend their money there, and they need to look at that. So this is more information. He was found guilty.
Yeah. So I was trying to say, so he went the full course, and as we see here, he was found guilty at a trial. So he was. He was tried. He was found guilty. He was sentenced a 60-year suspended jail sentence, 18 months probation. Listen, at the end of the day, and as I say, shame, and I'm not even going to shame Bell because it's not a light thing to joke about. If we all know you shouldn't be out there hitting women. A man should not hit a woman. And no jokes about gender equality and Me Too and all that shit. Men, keep your fucking hands to yourself when it comes to women. Simple as that, I was around a lot of domestic violence when I was a kid, and the shit's not cool. It doesn't fly with me, and it's not something that should be made light of. But I will say this, I do believe in rehabilitation, and if you pay the price, which he has done. He lost his NFL contract. His name was dragged through the mud. He was put on probation, no doubt given a fine, whatever else. At some point, and what year was this, Harrington? At some point, you have to be given a second chance in life, and he did pay the price. Now, I'm not saying that excuses his actions. I don't. But as I say, I do believe in rehabilitation, and maybe... who knows? I'm not making excuses for him, but maybe there's mitigating circumstances. Maybe he had too much to drink, and that isn't an excuse. Yeah. But it does go towards somewhat potentially as to why he made such a massive, momentous fuck up and acted like such a scumbag.
And that's a good point. There's a lot of variables that people will never know, that you have to look at it and go like, all right, well, at what point is the line drawn? What were you going to say, Harrington?
This was in the summer of 2014.
So yeah, it's not that, it's only 4 years ago. It's not that long ago, but at the same time, like, it is tough. It's actually, it's a tougher thing than you think. I mean, I just feel like, you know, it's really tough.
Well. I'm very, very tolerant about a lot of things, but I don't stand for a man hitting a woman. Simple as that, you know. And of course, that's nothing revolutionary to say. But as I say, I do believe in rehabilitation. And that was almost 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago. I mean, what do you do? Do you just have a policy where the UFC doesn't accept anybody with a criminal record or
maybe a lot of guys that want to be in the UFC? Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say, because lo and behold, unfortunately, fighters, guess what? Maybe they got into a few scraps when they were younger. Now, getting into a bar fight or a few scraps is very different, again, from hitting a woman. I keep making this same point because I don't want my words to be misconstrued and taken out of fucking context. But as I say, at some point, you should be allowed. What are we saying? This guy should never be allowed to make money, because
and then
lost.
Also
he
it's
paid
like
a massive.
Well, yeah, you're right. And there's also, it's like, what? Can he never make money at anything? So what? He can work at a dentist's office, but he can't work as a fighter. He can work, he can work as a security guard, but he can't work in the UFC. It's a weird thing. So no, you can't take away people. You're right. I agree with you. You can't take away somebody's ability to make money.
The reality is, I'm sorry to cut you off.
It's okay.
The reality is, he's never going to be able to undo the wrong that he did. Okay, that's the reality. The reality is that what happened that night and what that woman had to go through, I'm sure was terrible. And we shouldn't laugh, although throwing her onto a pile of guns was fucking hilarious.
It's the funniest way to beat a woman.
It really is. I'm going to throw you into the best possible weapon you could possibly have. And not just one of them, a lot of them. I'm going to throw you into a pile of guns. The word was pile. It wasn't like one, numerous, several. It was a fucking pile of guns.
The only thing funnier would have been is if he would have stuffed her into a cannon and shot her out his window.
That's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. No, listen, the reality is nothing that he can say or do will ever change the course of events which happened that night. And I'm sure that woman will have to live with them. And she's probably scarred and suffered physically, mentally, and it probably haunts her to this day. And it's disgusting. It's disgraceful. But as I said, I do believe in rehabilitation, and time has passed. He served his punishment. He was kicked out of the NFL. He had massive financial loss, and he was branded a criminal for it, and paid his consequence. So I don't have too much of an issue with him fighting in the UFC now. I don't. Yeah. And maybe I'm wrong. And if I am, I welcome other people's opinions to show me where I'm wrong in thinking that. Also, with Rachel Ostovich being on the card, again, she says that she's fine with that. Incidentally, she's still with her husband, the guy that beat her. But she says she's fine with it. But I've seen a lot of backlash, a lot of websites, a lot of news, TV shows that are all making a big, big deal out of this, saying that this is bullshit. It was insensitive by the UFC. But by all accounts, I heard that Rachel Ostovich had no problem with it. And again, I agree with that because, listen, it's a sad thing, but yeah, I don't know. Lewis, what have you got?
Yeah, the whole thing is it's a little bit of a mess, but I understand the point about the UFC sort of. Rachel Ostovich isn't going to come out and go, fuck the UFC. She's not in a position to do that, right?
No.
So if I'm booking the UFC, I'm probably just going to be conscious and not book them on the same card. Just for the sake of fuck it. Number one, you don't really want the bad press because it does look weird. Number two, this chick isn't going to say anything, but even that's sort of the whole thing, the whole debate about I would never go and tell a rape joke standing in the middle of a mall because there might be a chick who's not there for a fucking comedy show, that gets triggered and hurt by this thing. And it's like, but in my own act, if you come into my act, it's a different thing. So it's I don't know.
Lewis is very rapey, very, very
extremely rapey. It's probably, 2/3 of my act. And I say act. But it is I feel like it's a little bit insensitive, but at the same time, whatever, we do have to sort of move on. And the reality is I don't know the fucking jobs of booking a UFC fight in a card and moving stuff around and the logistics of having to have everyone's schedules work. And I know a lot of the time it's based off of geographically where people live and how many people are on a certain team that are fighting on the same card so they can get all these people out at the same time. There's all this other shit that goes into it that we don't really know. So maybe it got booked before anybody realized that. They were like, well, all right, if she doesn't have a problem with it, it is what it it is. We've moved on from it. We're not making a big deal of it. You guys are triggering this chick because she's still with the fucking guy, and obviously she's trying to move on and make it work out. So, I have my own opinions on that. I'll respect, her, thing. But, if you're with a guy that beats the shit out of you, I don't know. I gotta be honest with you. If she was my friend, we'd be having words.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the reality of the situation, as you said, probably was the fight was probably already scheduled before all this kind of happened, and she said she's fine with it, and the UFC said, okay, well, if you're sure about it, then we'll go ahead. What these news? Not that I'm saying that this isn't a newsworthy story, because there is definitely some kind of scandal there, certainly with Greg Hardy's past and what happened to her, which is unfortunate. There's definitely ammunition there for news outlets to make a big deal out of it, but. I thought maybe we should talk about that for a second, but because it is a tricky one. It's a tricky one, because everybody, and I feel like I can speak for the universe pretty much, that everyone feels the same way we feel. What they don't agree with us with is, I'm sure some people should say he should never fight. He should never be rewarded for his fighting ability. I guess that's where the real question comes in. Of course, everybody agrees a man shouldn't hit a woman. That's a no-brainer. The real question is, should he be able to fight inside the UFC? I say, unfortunately, he should.
And also, there's so much other nuance there, and there's so many other circumstances, and people make mistakes. Alcohol comes into play. Good.
Hold on. Let's ask Shannon. Shannon, how do you feel about this? I mean, you're the only woman working the show. What's your stance on this?
I kind of agree with you guys. I mean, he's going to make money at some point. It's just a matter of the fact that, I mean, what her injuries, though? Do we know what her injuries were?
You watch your fucking answer, Shannon.
I'm sorry. It's perfect.
Watch your fucking tone while we're talking about this subject. Continue. What were you saying?
I mean, how bad? I'm curious of how bad her injuries were. Do you know, Harrington?
Are you talking about Greg Hardy's wife?
Yeah. So
yeah, I'm not sure, Harrington.
I mean, she was shot 40 times.
Accidentally.
She landed in a pile of semi-automatic assault rifles.
What is that?
This is why NFL star Greg Hardy was arrested. These are the bruises on her back. But,
Oh, he choked.
But if you fall in a pile of guns, you're going to have some bruising all over your body. It's not any, and there's no, how in judo, they teach you how to fall? Like, you got to learn how to fall a certain way. Well, there's no learning how to fall. Yeah, breaking the fall, right? Nobody's learning how to break a fall into a fucking pile of guns. I don't care how much martial arts you're training, Mr. Bisping.
Listen, are you serious? You don't know the M16 fall? You don't know the Colt 40, the Colt 45 breaker? You don't know the Uzi 9mm dash? I don't know. But yeah, no, you're right. Fuck, man. But yeah, throwing onto a pile of guns, I can't get over the irony of that. But listen, it's a shame. But best of luck to Rachel Ostovich. I thought that she had a great attitude, to be honest. Because it is easy for a woman in this situation to play the victim and try and milk it a little bit, but she didn't do any of that, and she's had a great attitude. So I commend her for that. I wish her the best of luck in the fight this weekend, and best of luck to Greg Hardy. Because as I say, people make mistakes. They do. Human beings make a lot of mistakes. I don't know if he has a history of doing this. If he's done it multiple times, then fuck that guy. Plain and simple. But he paid the price. He made a mistake. He was penalized. It cost him millions and millions of dollars. It cost him his career. He was dragged through the mud. He was charged criminally. I don't know what more the guy can do. And it's almost 5 years ago. If he has a history, if he's done it on multiple occasions, then he can kiss my ass and he shouldn't get shit. But if it's just a one-off...
Yeah, he went to jail, right? Anyway. He went to jail, he served 60 days suspended, went through probation,
yeah.
Went through the whole, rigmarole. And, look, people make mistakes, man. And to be honest with you, I'm sure if you were to look into the world of mixed martial arts, people have made a hell of a lot worse mistakes, and people pay the price and do what they do. So, all right, do we want to do some questions?
Yeah,
almost at an hour and a half. Real quick.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll move on, and I know you're going to do a Gas Digital plug. I'll let you do that right now. I'm just going to say, stat card. Gregor Gillespie taking on, who was it? Yancy Medeiros. It's a fucking sick fight card. We'll go into depth on that on Thursday night, and God knows what else. We'll have some fun in studio. Lewis, go ahead. All you, buddy.
Yeah, hopefully we can get Chael as well. That would be incredible. If he's in town, I would love to get Chael Sonnen in studio. Either way, we probably will have a guest, whether it's a comic or a fighter or somebody hanging out on Thursday night with us. Real quick, go to iTunes right now. Right now. Leave us a 5-star ranking, positive review. Yeah, take a moment. Just pause the show. We do this all at the end. Leave us a 5-star ranking, positive review. Tell a couple friends about the show. Go to our YouTube channel, which is now over 30,000 subscribers deep. You guys are fucking killing it for us on YouTube. We love you guys. All the positive comments and all the positivity. It feels so good, dude. I do a lot of podcasts. Michael Bisping is on major television shows being a UFC fighter. People love to troll fighters, and the amount of positive feedback we get from you guys, it warms our souls. Believe me, we read the comments obsessively. We're fucking losers. We literally like an asshole. I'm searching my own fucking name on Google and Reddit like a dickhead. So thank you very much for all the positivity. Also, if you guys love the show, we do have 108 episodes available on demand, completely ad-free, uncensored. GasDigitalNetwork.com is the website. Use the promo code BYM. Get a 14-day free trial. See if you enjoy the premium service. You get it a day early as well before it goes to iTunes or YouTube. And I think that's all I really have to plug.
Yeah. And just real fast. I know we talked about people sending in videos and sending in pictures, and somebody sent me a message on Instagram. And we were saying, because I think we said send Louis some dick pics and send Shannon some dick pics. And someone sent me a dick pic.
Yeah, he did.
Yesterday. They said, Mike, listen, we have a dick pic for you. Do we have the picture that he sent through? Harrington, Shannon? Just listen to the Believe You Me podcast. Couldn't help but send you a dick pic. For those people listening to the show only, it is, of course, a picture of Luke Rockhold, which, I'm sorry, we have to go one show, we give him something. But that did make me laugh, and that is big_Jake6. Thank you very much for that. That cheered me up yesterday, gave me a good laugh. But without further ado, do we have our first video question?
Yeah, and also I should say, if you want to send in your video questions or any comments, anything you wanted to send, bympod
at gmail.com.
bympod at gmail.com. bympod at gmail.com is the email address for video questions, etc.
Okay. You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is Rob Stedman from Leicester.
I'm from Leicester in England. I have a pretty simple question for you both. Assuming you were both still single, if you could sleep with one female UFC fighter from the past or who's still currently fighting, who would it be and why? A big fan of the podcast. Thank you very much for all the episodes and keep up the good work.
Okay, Rob from Leicester. First of all, big up. Thank you very much. Appreciate you taking the time, being a fan, and sending in the video question. This is a dicey one for me. As a UFC commentator, as a UFC analyst, as a UFC multiple record holder, and not to mention a loyal husband and father of 3, I have to bow out. I have to defer this question to you, Lewis. I cannot answer this. I cannot disrespect. I cannot... what's the word? I cannot insult. I just can't go there. I take my role as a UFC employee very, very seriously, and I cannot disrespect or make light of such sexist remarks. Rob, in fact, fucking shame all day on Rob from Leicester.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I gotta be honest.
On that vibe, who would you smash?
No, look, I mean, first of all, I'm going to take the high road here as well. I'm a father. I have a girlfriend that I love very much. I also, we analyze the UFC on a very high level on this show. It's a respected podcast, probably, without a doubt the funniest, but, just one of the largest MMA podcasts in the world. And as somebody who just wants to have a little bit of respect in the world of MMA, I would have to say Mackenzie Darren all day, baby. From behind in every way you can imagine. No, I'm kidding.
What did Joey Diaz say about her?
Yeah, he said, I bet her asshole smells tremendous. No, I don't even think she's that hot. I think, dude, last week I was so impressed by Pollyanna of La Fala Blablas. And there's something, Mackenzie Darren's hot. But no, I like Pollyanna that we looked at last week. There's something about her beating the shit out of that guy on top of her being very beautiful. There's something really, really hot about that. I'd want her to just get me in a triangle choke and fucking kill me. It'd be a great way to go out.
It would be. Speaking of which, I'm trying to get my daughter to start jiu-jitsu classes in self-defense.
What a weird time to bring your daughter up.
No, because you're talking about a pretty girl triangling you, and I'm like, that made me
strange.
That's where my head went. Listen, look, inner look inside my mind. I don't even think. I don't even think about the sex, okay? I don't think like that. You're talking about UFC fighters. You're talking about triangles. I'm like, yes, my daughter also needs self-defense, and that's where my mind went. You take your mind out of the gutter for 1 second, Lewis, okay?
Dude, your daughter wants to do jiu-jitsu? She wants to do it?
No, I'm trying to get her to do it because she's a very good-looking girl. She's 16. She looks about 22, and there's a lot of creeps out there. And, I'm like, if you have a daughter, everybody, the best thing you can get them to learn is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because if you don't know, the best place to be in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or one of the best positions, is on your back with somebody between your legs. They call it guard. From there, there's a million submissions you can do. Guess where a rapist wants to be? In between your legs. Okay, so if you have a teenage daughter or a daughter, I could not recommend Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu high enough, and I'm trying to get her to do something. I even recommended to my wife recently, and then I quickly backtracked. I said, because I'm trying to get her to do a hobby or whatever, and I said maybe I'll start at my gym, UFC Gym Costa Mesa, which is doing very good. If you're in Orange County, check it out, please. 2860 Harbor Boulevard, cheeky plug. They've been wanting me to go down there and teach some classes. And I can't do it because I'm super busy, right? And then I said, I know what I'll do. I'll start teaching a self-defense class for teenage girls. And then I thought, hold on a minute. That's a bit creepy. Do you know what I mean? So I turn up with like Ellie and all their friends. I won't teach there. I don't go in that often. I do go in there and lift weights and whatnot. I don't teach there, but the one class that I do, I'm turning up with a bunch of like 7 or 8 hot 17-year-old chicks. I'm like, yeah, this is the only class I'll teach. I immediately did a U-turn. I'm like, that sounds creepy as fuck. I'm not doing that.
We're going to do a car wash. It's a fundraiser. What? Come on, girls, get out there. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, I was like, I'll start teaching a jiu-jitsu class for teenage girls. I'm like, nope, I won't. Oh my God, what am I thinking? Do you remember
there was a couple of years ago that there was a Miss Teen USA, I want to say, or it wasn't Miss America, it was a smaller pageant, but a pretty big one. And she got flack. Karen, you could probably look this up. She got flack because they asked her what they think we should teach young women about, sort of like defending themselves in this new sort of like dangerous times for women or whatever. I forget exactly what the question was, but her response was, because she was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, she was like, I think that every girl should learn Jiu-Jitsu and learn how to defend themselves. And these feminists out there were up in arms that she would dare put the onus on the woman. We should just teach men not to rape. It's like, well, yeah, of course. We should teach people not to steal and kill and fucking hurt other people. But let's get real. There's fucked up, evil people out there. And if you can have a little bit of knowledge, even just a little bit, to get yourself away and defend yourself, it goes such a long way. It was I thought her response was so mature and great. And then for other women to tear her down was just so counterproductive, in my opinion.
A feminist was triggered? I don't believe it, Lewis. I don't believe it. There was a feminist on her high horse preaching.
I want to knock her off that high horse into a pile of guns.
Men.
All right, next question.
Bring me my pile of guns. Sorry, I apologize. I should not be joking about that. I'm probably fired now. I shouldn't joke. Question 2, quickly, before anybody catches on to that one.
Here we go.
Somebody from Victoria. I can't remember his first name, but I'm sure he says it.
Hello, Michael and Lewis. Or should I say Lewis J. Gomez?
Fuck yeah, doggy.
This is Jesse from Victoria in Australia. Big fan of the show. Been listening since fucking episode 3 or some shit. Anyway, my question is for Lewis. We can all tell you're a bit scared of MJ Bisping there. What would it take for Michael? What would he have to do to get you, Lewis, to attack him physically? What lines would he have to cross?
That's a great question.
And how much money would us fans have to pay to see that? Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jesse.
Fuck you, Harrington. If you don't show him this question, go and suck ball sack, yeah? Love you guys. Keep it up.
I like this guy.
He gets the award for the best video caller of all time. Yeah. Jesse from Victoria, thank you very much. Awesome. Very, very funny. But yeah, on a serious note, Lewis,
to attack you?
To attack me? Come on, come at me, bitch.
I mean, you would literally have to have sex with my son. I would have to catch you in the act of having actual penetrative. Even if you told me you were about to do it, I would have to talk you out of it first. I'd be like, no, Michael, come on, please leave him. Well, he's just a boy. What are you doing? But if you actually got his pants off, by the way, I'd be rooting for him. Like, James, we've talked about this. Remember jiu-jitsu? He's got your pants off. But the moment you penetrated, then I would have to, from afar, throw something at you and hope to knock you out. No, yeah, I mean, no. I'm not stupid. There's no getting around it. There's no getting through. If I was going to attack Michael Bisping,
no. But you know, there's ways and means. You know, I mean, we all know, and I'm not trying to sound tough, that in a fair one-on-one fight, given that I've spent my entire life training to be a fighter, that I'd probably win. I'm trying to be humble.
Me?
But what about sneaking up behind me with a hammer and smashing that in my head, or a brick or a bottle? You know, what would push you over the edge?
Well, I remember we got into the argument at the hotel bar, the infamous argument that we got into. And I remember at one point you put your hand on my shoulder and you were just being intimidating. And I remember looking around for things that I would have to beat you with if you started to attack me, because there's no doing it with my fist. So I remember seeing a ketchup bottle and I was like, okay, that's got a nice heftiness to it, right? Just fucking really hit him in the side of the head.
Hold on. I love the way that me putting my hand on your shoulder, I was trying to calm and
That's
connect
not true. He was
you.
not.
No, I'm like, Lewis, my brother, listen to me. So as I'm trying to diffuse the situation with my hand on your shoulder, you are looking around looking for weapons.
Yes.
Okay, I've got my hand on your shoulder trying to have like an intimate, Lewis, listen, brother, this is crazy. And I'm thinking I'm getting through to you. It's just me and you, eye to eye. You're eyeing up the fucking ketchup bottle or beers or bottles of fucking proper 12.
No, a beer bottle is not going to do it, okay? I thought about it. You got to get the weight of a nice Heinz number 57 bottle really to fucking get in there. No, I'm not psychotic. You're a fucking monster. I'll never forget when I fucking grappled with you at the UFC gym in Costa Mesa. I just remember the feeling of being like, fuck, I didn't realize that I'm this weak as a human. And it's really... I don't, because we talked about this on the Legion of Skanks podcast in LA when you were there, like, and just sort of like, I don't think people like realize, like, yes, obviously a UFC fighter can beat you up. Anybody listening, yes, a UFC fighter can beat you up, but you don't know how badly. You don't really understand it until you're there and you're fucking around. We just fucked around for a second, and I realized very quickly, I was like, oh shit, this is so much deeper than you think. Like, if you wanted to, we got a question years ago on the radio show. I remember they asked you, how quickly could you kill a man with your bare hands? Like if you said it's just the average man. And it's like, no, I think if you wanted to kill me, you could literally get me to a rear naked choke within 10 seconds, like really easily. You could just do it. You're like, all right, you're in a rear naked choke. I'm passed out unconscious completely. I'm open. And at that point, you can just kill me. Am I crazy about that? How difficult would it be for you to actually murder a human being with your bare hands?
Well, I don't want to sit here on a fucking podcast and going on about how fucking hard I am and how I can kill you with my bare hands. But that is ultimately a consequence of some of the moves that we learn. You know, doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu, you choke someone out. Yeah, okay. They can tap, you stop, or they don't tap and they go unconscious. And if you hold it on, eventually they'll die. That is just a reality, you know. It is no joke. But Jesse, that question was hilarious. That was very, very funny. And very, very, very a good delivery. I liked it. Australians are great like that. They got a great sense of humor. Hence why I married one. We got one more.
One more video question. Thank you very much for the video questions, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. It's great.
This is Mike from, I believe it's pronounced Worcester in England.
Worcester.
And I've got a question for both of you. And it's a little bit bait, I'll be honest. So imagine this. A tag team MMA tournament with 4 teams. And those 4 teams are Michael and Lewis, Joe Rogan and Young Jamie, Brian Callen and Brendan Schaub, and Chelson and Ariel Hawani. So who do you think wins? Who comes second? Who comes third? And who loses that tournament? Cheers, boys.
Huh.
Nice one, mate. Listen, we almost went a full show without fucking trying to throw a bit of shade at Brendan Schaub or any other podcast. And then the final question that comes through, he mentions all of the biggest MMA podcasts, and now we have to talk shit about them. Well done. Nicely played. Good job. I mean, of course, who have we got?
All right, we got Rogan and Young Jamie, Chelsea and Hawani, Schaub and Callan, and me and you.
Well, it all comes down to this, doesn't it, really? It comes down to which one of those other counterparts can you beat? So Ariel Hawani, no offense, Ariel, I put my money on you over Ariel any day of the week.
All day.
Young Jamie, boom, I sign off on that. You take that
the same
guy
way
down,
you would just kill me with your bare hands. I would kill Young Jamie with my bare hands with ease. I
met him. I don't disagree. Who's the other one? Brian Callan.
Brian Callan.
I think you might have some competition with Brian Callan, man.
This is the tricky one, doggy. I've seen he has videos of him kicking and punching, but am I wrong? Is he not way smaller than me? I'm a monster right now. I mean, look, it's all stomach fat, but you know what? I'm very big right now, and that does make a difference. And also, I'm willing to fucking fight. Can we not forget the fact that I'm just willing to do it?
That is good. And you get bonus points for that because, a lot of the times when a man is willing to just go there, you're like, fuck, it's not worth it. That's like, if you're getting bullied at school or anywhere, just be that guy. Make them fulfill their promise because they won't do it and they'll stop being a bully.
Even if they beat you up.
Side note, should I be concerned? I just saw two guys walk past the door with backpacks on. I don't know what they're doing. Go, hello, intruders. It's like we're English around here. We're polite to even the burglars.
Your daughter and wife are tied up right now. They're robbing your house.
Remember the jiu-jitsu I showed you. And ask him to take his shoes off, please. It's raining outside.
Don't worry. You want to let him in your guard. That you got him right where you want him.
Oh my God. Listen, we're going to hell for this one. I apologize, by the way. I wasn't making light of the Greg Hardy thing. I made that joke and it's not a laughing matter, but we're having a bit of fun on this podcast as we always do. No disrespect to anybody involved. Best of luck to Rachel Ostovich this weekend. Of course, Greg Hardy, what he did there is deplorable and he's an absolute fucking piece of shit. So, but you got to see light in these kind of situations as we do because you're not listening to us to all doom and gloom. The theme of our podcast, we have fun, we bust balls, we have a good time.
I mean,
thank you all for your questions.
I'll
Go
also
ahead.
stand by the fact that throwing a woman into a pile of guns is the funniest way to beat a woman. It's not funny to beat a woman, but there is definitively a funniest way, and that's a fact. So I stand by it.
Yeah. But everybody who sent in the video questions, we thank you. bynpod@gmail.com. Please subscribe, iTunes, YouTube, leave comments. We got Sanibel gloves to give away for the best comments and the best reviews.
At the end of the month in January. At the end of January, we're going to give away a few things.
Imran from Sanibel is a man of his word. He doesn't mess around. Unfortunately, he's way more organized than I am. That's why he runs a very successful equipment manufacturing company. And those gloves will get sent out at the end of the month. So leave your reviews and all that good stuff. In the meantime, me and Lewis will be back on Thursday night, live in studio from New York together. That is always fun. As I say, thanks for listening. And God bless you all. Talk to you soon.